So let's get it started. We are going to kick off the night with Max Pasakorn, and I am going to pass it to you, Max.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. My name is Max. For a visual description, I am a Asian person wearing clear frame glasses and a very Coachella-esque pink t-shirt. I was in the Lambda 2023 retreat as a virtual multi-genre cohort. It was really odd because we were all online, but everyone else was partying in person. So it's great to, I think, be in this online space. I'm joining everybody from Singapore, where it is currently 8:43 a.m. So I got up early for this. And it's great because I think what I'm about to read is something that I probably cannot read in Singapore in public. So here we go. This is a work in progress. It is in an essay that I've titled The Hardness Essay. Um, and it begins with a quote, which goes, "At some point, as a homosexual, you gotta get muscles or just go lay down somewhere," by world famous drag queen with a passion for makeup artistry, Trixie Mattel. And this is the essay. It is hard to grow up in Singapore, a fat queer person, and not be stuffed a gym membership the moment I walked it like I had an income. Eat this, all the salespeople come personal trainers seem to say, instead of the junk you are fed. It is better for you. As if they were parents trying to feed a recalcitrant child his greens, as if they possessed the secret ingredient that would magically clean up the frazzled life I had been cursed with. What I was supposed to order instead of the happy meals that made me somewhat happy was routine, discipline, or order. Order meant purpose, meant fitting myself into straight, hard boxes that would enclose my day into little compartments, even if I preferred messy spillage. Order, according to every salesperson strongly encouraging me to sign up for the gym with their judgmental stares and claims of my impending diabetes, was the first ingredient to be fit. It would be irresponsible of me not to acknowledge my involvement in my internalized understanding of fitness, the want I stuffed myself with growing up. The first time I masturbated, it wasn't to porn. Open brackets, ew, genitalia, I thought to myself then, close brackets, but to images of muscular men's torsos I found on bodybuilding.com, a website forum of people, mostly men, trying everything to accentuate the sinews that envelop their body, peppered between workout routines that resembled undecipherable arithmetic code. Why would you ever do an exercise with the word dead in its name? Were photographs of grumpy-looking men who grimaced so blood would rush to their foreheads and make their muscles pop. Behind them were audience members at these bodybuilding competitions, visibly cheering them on, while the comments on these forums acknowledged their discipline. I learned words then like bulking and cutting, the only two states these men lived by, synonymous with seasons. Sometimes they put on weight and sometimes they shed them, but it was always under their control. Now, I look at these photos and imagine them like frilled lizards popping the fan around their collar. But back then, I thought of the hardness of their bodies. I put my hands on my torso, which had always been loose and flubby, soft, with jiggly fat surrounding it like a leaking inner tube refilled after every meal. When I vibrated my hands, it would send visible little shock waves rippling across my body. The men I saw online would not feel like that. They would be firm, sturdy, unmovable. They would take every force inflicted upon them and resist it. That was what being a man was, I thought, the body resilient to the whims of the world, steady and rock hard. So when I looked down and saw the boner protruding from my pelvis, I wondered if that was the one part of my body where masculinity existed. I was curious. I touched it, and hardness felt like pleasure. Then hardness was fleeting. When I came back over and over with my teenage libido motivating me, hardness felt aspirational. My first part-time job where I stayed more than a day was at my high school's gym. They were recruiting students from low-income households across campus, and this was the first job I found that looked easy. There was no need for hard labor. My main task was to ensure each student's entry was recorded on a computer with a barcode scanner. Before starting, I imagined myself as an underpaid, couldn't give two fucks part-time cashier I saw on American TV, chewing gum with an expressionless face. But of course, this was Singapore, so we had no gum, and I was Max Pasakorn, someone who was so naturally expressive, it was hard to look too cool for school. When fitness classes were about to start, the Singaporean students would stream in, congesting themselves into a giant queue as they rushed to the locker rooms, letting out the tsk of annoyance if the Excel spreadsheet lagged, which it often did. The old computer sometimes hummed and wheezed louder than the treadmills. Plus, I thought before I was hired, if I worked at the gym, I would become certain of my sexuality, why the pursuit of hardness appealed to me, despite me knowing nothing about it. I graduated from bodybuilding.com when I realized real gay porn existed on the internet after keying in the innocuous words gay video onto Google with real actors who sometimes looked like they wanted to fuck each other. So I gave up obsessing over the granularity of fitness routines, which muscle group to work with how many reps of what exercise. Even as my sexuality started to surface, as I had grown up wanting the men revered for their physiques, I never thought to myself, I want to be like them. That, I soon realized, is a paradoxical entrapment of homosexuality, something I realized lured other queer men into a lifelong loop of looking at and for their ideal bodies. Just because I wanted sex with someone from the same gender, it doesn't mean I want to look like them. From the gym counter, I would look at people of all body types file through and found myself in no one. Yeah, and that's my reading. It's my time. Thank you so much, everyone, for your attention.